What is the most anti-scientific theory or idea you believe in? The less you study a particular section, the more likely it's going to be on the exam. If my body is inside the blanket, the monsters can't get me. I am immortal. Source: haven't died yet. Déjà vu experiences are checkpoints to whatever my intended future is. I have no idea who set them up, and that not having regular déjà vu experiences means I fucked off the path. The closer I am sleeping to the right side of the bed, the more vivid, intense, and terrifying my dreams are. The closest I am to the left side, I wake up remembering absolutely nothing. This is something I've proven to myself countless times over, but nobody believes me. Some people have better luck than others. Either that or my friend knows how to roll natural 20s all the fucking time. Jinxing. If I want something to happen, and its odds of happening are up to random chance, I do not talk about it beforehand. If I want it not to rain, I try not to even think to myself there probably won't be rain, because if I do, it'll rain. There's a dimension for each work of fiction ever created, where it is the reality and our world is one of their fiction. The surest way to determine if it will rain is to note whether or not I brought my umbrella that day. Chocolate is basically a vegetable. It's made from cocoa beans, and beans are definitely vegetables, so I can eat chocolate guilt-free. The few days before a full moon makes my patients crazy. Getting a laboring patient ready for a C/section will prevent the C/section. A change in weather will make patients' water break. My 15-year-old son was abducted by aliens and they left a hateful changeling in his place. That if I confess to my crush now, there's 99% chance for me to get rejected. The percentage is unscientific. That life is a sim and people are watching. There is no way I could prove it. I just got a feeling. There's the theory that lizard people have infiltrated our society, lurking disguised as celebrities and politicians. Now, I don't know about that, but no one can tell me that Mitch McConnell isn't actually a turtle in disguise. That I'm gonna be okay. Dogs can feel guilt. I think the pet behavioral scientists have grabbed the wrong end of the stick here. I'm not one of those pet owners who think my dogs can feel human emotion. But I have observed guilt in dogs firsthand. The issue, I believe, comes from the definition of guilt. Scientists think it means a sense of right and wrong, like a moral judgment. Obviously dogs don't have that. To me, guilt just means you know you've done something you shouldn't. And dogs absolutely do know that. They are not just reacting to my tone, which is the common hand-waved explanation. How do you explain this scenario? I leave the house. Dog finds left out food, or gets into the garbage, or eats an item of clothing. I return, with no knowledge of what has happened. The dog avoids eye contact, or hides. I then discover what the dog has done and realize why the dog has been acting strangely. That's guilt to me. It's self-proving. The dog did something wrong, knew it was wrong, and couldn't face me. The scientists are wrong. I believe the recent reskin of the Sonic the Hedgehog is all a publicity stunt and was planned from the very beginning. Reincarnation. I just kinda believe in it. I'm not sure why. I don't go around acting on it. It's just that sometimes I have some thought assuming I've lived before and will again. I guess it's less a belief and more an assumption. It's a nice thought, so I don't see any reason to try and get rid of it. That we'll never get to the point where science is advanced enough that people will live forever. That we are all one consciousness experimenting existence itself. That our universe is actually a giant ball, and we are on the inside. Outside of the ball are other balls of universes, and they all combine like atoms to make a giant creature. That creature is part of a universe that is a ball, and all of those balls combine to become a creature, etc. I firmly believe that Sasquatch is the most plausible cryptid out there. Your thoughts shape your reality. There are spirits of others that do communicate with some people. I have no way to explain how my wife knew to make me call my brother shortly after his wife's death. My wife said his wife was next to her all day bugging her too. We live 2,000 miles away. Wyoming isn't real. Linear time is an illusion created by our perception and perspective, and everything is happening, has happened, and will happen, and there's no difference between the three. Our funny little lives and brains only make it seem like it's linear. I'll get a girlfriend someday. Your nose itches more the dirtier your hands / the more things you are holding. The theory is that after the latest Earth crust displacement, Atlanteans moved to Antarctica, which had a warmer climate then. When it gradually froze, so did the Atlanteans with it. The idea is that the remnants of their society are locked under ice. Guess we'll soon find out as the ice melts now. Possums. That déjà vus are memories from our future selves. That afterlife exists and that aliens exist. Sometimes I get the idea in my head that other people can read my mind, and I'm going to humiliate myself by thinking embarrassing thoughts. It's not a hardcore belief, but it pops up way too often. There's no proof at all that any sort of psychic exists, let alone that they'll be standing in the lobby of my office building. I think there's something to spirituality, but not the way it's thought about in the West, but more like a Buddhist approach from the East. People are fundamentally good and have intrinsic value. That people can feel when their loved ones are in trouble. Me and other people I know feel this, and while it isn't scientific at all, I 100% believe that some people can feel it. That there will never be true peace on Earth, due to the fact that we as humans always crave carnage and are controlled by a system that rewards us for being greedy. If you hold your breath after someone sneezes, you'll have less of a chance to get sick. There must be some kind of God, but it's definitely not anything any human religion represents even remotely accurately. Definitely not a wise man in the sky or a force deep inside each of us or any other bullshit. I'm only certain of two things. 1. That despite current scientific hypotheses, life didn't just spring up because of a random chemical reaction in the right conditions, and 2. That if life on Earth really was created by someone or something, then it's almost definitely not something any of us know about or potentially could even comprehend. It is entirely possible that, just like how a 2D character existing on a flat plane could never comprehend the 3D would beyond that plane, our brains straight up can't even imagine whatever God is. So literally every religion out there must be wrong, because biologically speaking our brains are straight up not equipped to understand the truth even if we could somehow perceive it. Edit. A lot of people are using my comment as a platform to propagate Christianity, Islam, or whatever their religion is. Since apparently part of my post seems very lost to some people, Allow me to repeat once more for those in the back, I think every single religion is bullshit. The idea is that, should some kind of God exist, whatever that is completely incomprehensible to us. So anyone who claims to comprehend it, be it pastors, prophets, and the likes, is full of shit by default. Please do not use my opinion as justification why your religion is the right one. They're all bullshit. I believe the dreams that shook me awake in this life were flashes from previous lives. I've no fear of heights, but I must have fell to my death a couple thousand times in previous lives. Because that's the random alarm I can't tune out. I believe in ghosts. Yikes, I misread the title as antisemitic and had to check what sub it came from. I think humans may have once been able to read each other's minds. Eventually we developed the ability to tell the difference between our thoughts and those of others, and that's why we have metacognition today. Then we developed language, which was more reliable than mind reading, so we lost it as it didn't give us an evolutionary advantage anymore, but we kept metacognition because it did. I believe that we are not alone in the universe. Astrology. No horoscopes, but otherwise it's a fun way to make sense of everyone's personalities and how they interact. Cheese is good for me. Life on Earth came from Mars. A meteorite slammed into Mars when it still had an atmosphere, ocean, and life. Some of the debris landed on Earth and started its evolutionary journey here. Life on Mars was wiped out when it lost its atmosphere and its ocean evaporated. Karma. I really believe in it. Somehow, everyone who messed with me got it bad, and I avoid hurting people too. Probably dangerous admitting this on Reddit, but I kind of believe some things about astrology. I know it's mostly horseshit and horoscopes are just fun filler for the back page of a newspaper, but my wife did my chart based on where and when I was born and read my profile to me, and, well, it was an uncanny description of me. Then she read her chart, same thing. Then we did our compatibility chart and it was like verbatim our relationship dynamic. Maybe I was cherry picking, but overall it was scarily accurate. If I tell someone about something good that happens in my life, that good thing goes away. It always seems to happen and it sucks cause I'm excited to tell people about a good thing that happened, but I can't cause it won't happen or it'll go away if I do say something about it. Ghosts. Always been terrified of them, especially at night. Guess I just watched too many horror movies. Quantum immortality, i.e., the idea that when you die your consciousness just switches to a parallel universe where you are still alive, meaning that from your perspective you'll effectively keep living forever, or at least live the longest possible lifespan you can ever reasonably experience. There is at least a scientific basis to the theory, which is that subatomic particles interact with other subatomic particles in parallel universes, and since everything about us ultimately boils down to subatomic particles, then that must mean that we are connected to other versions of ourselves at the subatomic level, but that's admittedly a bit flimsy, and from my non-scientific perspective it doesn't seem to me that there's any way to actually test this theory out, but I find the idea very compelling all the same, and I suspect that the longer I live the more convinced I'll become that there's something to it, and if I ever live to be the oldest man on earth I'll probably start to swear by the theory. If you work in a hospital you will probably have heard that a full moon means a lot more A&E admissions or generally crazy behavior in people overall. Life might get better. Lucky vs unlucky pairs of boxers. My roommate still believes you can divide by 0. He believes that we haven't discovered the number that you would get. I love the kid, but he's about to graduate with an engineering degree, and sometimes I just wonder how he can still believe that. I try to have a very scientific view of the world, but I occasionally use tarot cards, crystals, and sigils when I'm going through something I need help dealing with. It's more placebo than anything but makes me feel better. Where all my anti-vaxxers, flat earthers, chemtrailers at? Creationism. Yeah, I said it. I do the whole knock on wood thing. Sugar and kids. I've seen enough sugary drinks, ice cream cake, gummy bear driven wild childs that you can't tell me different. If I spam the spam buttons in a particular order in Pokemon, it increases the catch rate. Spamming the A button does make the game load faster. There is a way to open and close the door to beat the refrigerator light. Whatever line I pick at the store checkout, regardless of how short or fast it appears to be clearing, will come to a screeching halt for 10 minutes once I enter it. Intensely staring at the remote will magically float it towards me. Don't mind me, I'm here for the flat earthers. If I hide under the covers then I can't see the monsters so they can't see me. That ghosts or paranormal beings exist. Maybe on a different dimension, maybe it's afterlife, yada yada, but there is clearly something beyond our understanding in this area that we can't discover yet. LOL, God. At this point, having an imaginary friend is nice, because sometimes you can't tell people around you the shit that's on your mind. And like, taking the Bible at face value just don't work out well. Drawing from the good, very subjective, I know, is a nice thing though. I like the approach of be a better person to others, because it's good. And makes you and them feel good. Now obviously you don't need religion for either of these, but in a way it helps many. And if it helps, that's all I need. That individually our consciousness travels on a single path in one multiverse, held together by our collective conscious entanglement. However, you can break free from the collective conscious entanglement and stir your individual consciousness to another possible path in the multiverse, one that might be more favorable to you. How? I don't know. Prayer or something like it? Cats do know when you are sick and they help you recover faster. Facts. That the animals I do eat are less intelligent than the ones I don't eat. I guess I don't really believe it because I know it's BS, but I keep entertaining the lie. That love is the most powerful force in the universe. That would be God, and the miracles Jesus did along with that spirit dude. If I set the 20-sided die so that the 20 is facing up when I'm not using them, I'll roll more 20s. God. I grew up in church. I've pretty much lost my religion, question the Bible, am undecided on Jesus, don't believe in hell, but I still believe in God. Mass and energy can't be created, only transferred. I've always taken this to be proof of God. If you submit to our world's laws of mechanics, then there is no scientific sense in our world existing. If you submit to our existence being supernatural, you recognize that God operates beyond the laws of mechanics and creating mass and energy is within His power. In both ways of thinking you are making a concession. God. Y'all motherfuckers need skepticism. There's no way a plane can fly in my mind. It's massive and very heavy. first guys to try it must have been insane. The referee is always whistling against my team. Getting out of bed when the time doesn't end in 5 or 0 is a terrible idea and will ruin my day. Karma. Nessie. Theory. Your thoughts and therefore dreams are electricity, which is matter, and matter can never be created or destroyed. So when we die our dreams live on, so maybe it's just like sleeping. How would we know if we weren't already dead and this is actually all just a dream? Etc. I firmly believe that machines have moods and personalities. Also reincarnation. Mash A and B buttons to catch Pokemon. That I can tell if it's going to rain each day by looking to the furthest visible point of the sky. I believe heads up coins are good luck. If they're tails up I flip them over and leave them for someone else to get some good luck. That Reddit is just an elaborate ploy by the TV media and movie companies to obtain new and exciting ideas for future productions at little to no cost. That everything is going to be okay. The 5 seconds rule. No, for real. Maybe not 5 second exact, but if food falls on the ground and I can immediately pick it up, I'll eat it most of the times. Provided the ground isn't icky. God.